What's up?
Hey, Facebook.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This is Terry and
GL.
Hatchett, and this is a special Christmas edition of
The
Hatchett Chronicles.
What's happening, y'all?
We miss you guys. It's been a while. Life happens, so we haven't been as regular as we would have liked to. Hopefully that will change. Well, prayerfully that will change in 2019. But we did want to do a special Facebook Live for Christmas, being that this is what I'll second.
Tony Orr, what's up, baby? What's
hey,
up, baby?
This is our
little bro, CJ Spiller, what's popping? Joe Bird, what's good?
Hi, everybody. This is our our third Christmas together as a couple. 7 years knowing each other. Before we start, we like to give some shout outs.
Peace.
Some plugs. First of all, everyone, please support our major artist, Sabrina Johnston.
Right.
Her new CD, her new single has dropped as of today, 9 o'clock this morning. You can find it on your favorite streaming sites. It's called Lay Me Down. It's produced, performed, and written by Sabrina Johnston herself, and it is under our label, Untapped Talent Recordings.
Y'all see the banner in the background over there?
Yeah, it's on iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby, all of the streaming sites. It has dropped as of today. And also look forward to more singles dropping from our artists coming soon. There's one that's going to be dropping on the 25th, January 25th, our son, Fleet Code Chain. One of his singles will be dropping January 25th.
Clay, what's happening, Clay?
Hey, Clay, how are you? Merry Christmas. So, this special edition. Oh yeah, and my book is coming soon. The Power of God. It is coming soon. I've been talking about it.
It's a great read too. It really is.
Yeah, and I've been talking about it for the longest. It is in the process. It will be arriving soon, so please look out for that. My husband, one of the Five Kings, SMG. They're doing some big stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and that's one reason why we haven't been on in a while. But we're here now for Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Got a lot of records coming.
Yeah, we have a lot of singles coming out. So just tune in, keep abreast of that. So, baby, it's Christmas.
Yeah, what's your topic?
Well, I wanted to talk about two topics.
I don't have none. I just agreed to do it.
You know what? He's a good husband. Excuse me, I'm coming off of a little cold. My husband has been great in taking care of me.
Like I always do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a family show.
I didn't do that. You did that. We wanted to do this special Christmas. Part one was a couple of months ago, or maybe a month ago, a friend of mine posted something about if your woman or your wife walked in and she had cut off all her hair or got a new hairstyle and she didn't ask you about it, would that be a problem? Or, should you? And I was very surprised at the reaction from women. And it kind of, I won't say surprised. It just kind of shows us the direction we've been going in, which I feel is a downhill spiral. A lot of women, the first reaction was, oh, he doesn't control me. This is my hair. I do what I do with my hair and blah, blah, blah. And that was kind of, that bothered me a little, because here's the thing. No, I don't have to. I am my own person, and I don't have to get permission from my husband to do anything with my body, because it is my body. However, on the other side of that, when I married, I became one with my husband, and it's about my husband. My look or the way I present myself, the way my husband feels about that is important to me. And so I'm out here to please him, not anybody else.
What we're saying that it's a reflection of me.
Exactly.
And it's a reflection of my level of respect and my level of integrity and all of those things. If I allow, and I'm not, that maybe that's the wrong word, allow, because it sounds really controlling, but not if I allow, but if
let's get into that. That's a good thing. You said allow. A lot of people are afraid of words.
Yeah.
And you can say allow.
Well, with us I can. But some people, some other people may not agree with that because
words.
Right. Right. And they go off of words, and a lot of times the words that they're going off of, they take it so far that it becomes a different meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of what the actual word means. So, and as you see, you got to be mindful of the things you say and do. Just like I caught myself and said allow, maybe that was the wrong word to use, but if my wife is wearing something that I don't like, that's a representation of me when she goes out to do whatever she's going to do. Okay, because, you know, they know she's married. So wearing like some Gucci shorts or something like that, or she don't dress like that anyway. And don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling anybody when I'm saying this, but shorts that are too short or provocative dressing, that's what I'll say. Provocative dressing. And I don't like it. I'm going to speak my mind on it because, like I said, that's a representation of me also. That's just like if I was wearing some things that she didn't like, she has to speak her mind because I'm a representation of her. You know, when y'all see me, y'all think of my wife. When y'all see my wife, y'all think of me. You know what I mean? Y'all know that we are one. But see, and two, another thing, a lot of times, you know, when it's a couple, if they're not married, they don't look at it as one. You understand what I'm saying?
But is something such as a hairstyle really so?
It's minute, but this is what society does. Society plays a part in everything you do. It destroys the household. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Society destroys the household. If you don't have your own, if you don't set your own mark in your own house, then you might as well leave the doors open and the windows up.
Well, let me say this to the ladies, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of disagreement about this, but, you know, I think we get too caught up in the powers that be, let's put it that way, way of living that is a genocide to destroy us. For instance, you know, we have this control, you know, I work, you know, I got my own job, I got my own money, I don't need no man. That is a mentality that was set in place to destroy us. That was a mentality to sit in place to take the strong black man out of the house.
That's right.
Okay, so it's okay to be making your own money. It's okay to be independent. But if we go back to Bible time, God created Adam and Eve. We are supposed to be partners to work together. And so it doesn't matter. It's not about how much money you make or how much money he make or what you can do for them or what he can do for you. It's about being partners.
And what you can do for one another.
Yeah, and in that relationship, the parent of that relationship. So I have no problem, and I've said this before, people who know me, my husband is the head of the household not because of him, but because of my belief in God and the Bible that says that the man is the head of the household. I don't make the decisions. He makes the final decision. Now, on the other hand of that, it doesn't mean that he takes advantage of that and that he don't consult with me or that he doesn't value my opinion in the decision. It just means that he is the head of the household. It's only one person that can run things. Truly. Because too many eggs in a basket cause a mess.
That's right.
He is the head. I have no problem with that because I know also that it's okay to follow him.
Because with that being said, I'm going to do the very best that I can to make sure that we're both okay. You know, and whatever it is that I have to do, I'm going to make sure that my household is what it's supposed to be and is ran correctly. And I follow God. And if it's not that, then it's not in my house.
And that is the point, that he follows God. Now, I think that another thing that has caused a virus, as I would say, for lack of a better word, relationship is the fact that we're not following the right man. We fall in love with some man that might not be a God-fearing man, and he let us down, and then we take that as, you know, oh, men, you know, I'm independent, I'm not going to trust in a man. Well, really, we're supposed to be trusting in God.
And you know what? And that's a great point you just brought up. You know, when that happens, then when a woman gets hurt, I'm not going to say woman, a man too, because it's between the both. They get hurt and they'll, you know, go into the next relationship with baggage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the new man that's there has to take the brunt of
whatever
the things that happened before him.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. And on a woman's behalf, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not just bigging up and saluting the guys, but it happens both ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, you know, when you have to talk, you got to communicate. You know, what she was saying about the hair thing, like my wife did her hair a certain way. We took a trip and she had her hair done a certain way, and she had it one way when I was talking, and then when it was time to go, I saw it a different way, and I was like, wow, I really like that. And she said, I don't know, I'm thinking about putting it back like I had it. And I was like, no, why don't you just leave it out? Just try it, just see. Just try it and see. And she was getting compliments from it all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. Blondie, mommy, everybody. And I just, you know, sometimes she like to see, like I don't like to get on the camera without a shave and a haircut. Y'all know how I am. I stay with a haircut and I stay with a shave. And, you know, sometimes when it's my rough days, I be like, man, I look real rough. I look crazy. I'm going to go shave. And she's like, no, leave it like that. And I'm like, man, I ain't leaving. But then who am I trying to impress? Like I have what God gave me. I have what I'm supposed to have. So I don't have to impress anyone.
Which is a good thing, because let me tell you, for those who don't know me, I'm kind of vain at sometimes. But when our first dates, I had to go to make a run to the store. And I had already taken off my shoes, my heels, and everything like that, because I don't go, everybody that knows me knows, I go everywhere with my heels. Well, I used to. So I was getting dressed like I was going out to a club or something. And he looked at me and he said to me, he was like, where you going? Why you putting on all that? And I was like, I ain't going out here looking no kind of way. And he was like, who you trying to impress? And I don't know why that struck a chord with me, but it was like, hey, he's right. You know, he's here. I already impressed him. You know, I came in the heels and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I realized at that point that I didn't need to, I needed to reevaluate, which is what I did. Now, that's not to say that it's not okay. Some people have habits. Like I have a heel habit. I don't go nowhere without my heels. That's just me.
And it's
but
okay.
You do need to reevaluate sometimes. Why are you doing all that? Are you doing that for yourself, or you're doing that to get attention? Why are you doing that? Why are you dressing like you're dressing? What is the purpose behind it? I think that's important. And as far as the hair, asking my husband's opinion, yes, I feel like it's all right to ask my husband's opinion before I do something different to my hair, or if I change a style or something, because that is my husband. It's because, yes, I do want to impress him forever.
Right.
It's not, I've never been one to start out one way. A lot of women.
That's so important, man.
A lot of women will start out one way to get the man. Then once they get the man, then they go back to the headscarves and the face mask and all that. I'm lazy. I've always said I'm lazy. Listen, how you see me is how I am, because I don't have time. I don't have the patience to put on airs. It's just, I lose patience. My patience is not there. So, however I am, that's how you're going to see me from day one. And so what you is that don't start something that you can't finish. If that's how you are in the beginning, then stay that way. And if that's the one for you, if he loves you, then he'll accept you for who you are.
There's no need for a facade.
Exactly.
There's no need for a facade. And I don't know why this keeps jumping back in my mind. The hair thing is, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that it's okay for your wife to change her hair, and it's okay for her to, do different styles and stuff like that. And whatever those comments were that they were making was probably because, pardon me, y'all, probably because there wasn't that good of an understanding in someone's relationship. You understand what I'm saying? What I mean by that is, like, I know how I like to see you, just like you know how you like to see me, right? So if you did your hair a certain way and I said, I don't like that, you don't have to change it.
The question was, no,
but
it was clear that the question was, should you ask your man before you change, like, your hairstyle?
Oh, okay.
And a lot of women was like, no, I don't need his permission. Why I gotta ask him? I'm not. A lot of people felt like it was controlling. And what I'm saying is, why would that be controlling your partner? If you had a business
right
with a partner, before you made the decision, you consult your partner. You wouldn't say, oh, I'm not going to consult my partner because that's controlling.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what you're saying. You're saying that you're not, you don't need to consult him because that makes you feel controlled. Maybe that's something in you that makes you feel controlled.
It has to do with yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I'm not.
There's a miscommunication or a misconnection with yourself. There's a part of you that is insecure.
I also think that it is a mentality that we have been brainwashed to believe, and that's why so many women are, I'm making my own money, I'm making, I got my own car, my own house, I don't need a man. I won't say I don't need a man either, but
no.
I have my husband and I want him, and it feels good.
You know what? You don't need a man, and a man doesn't need a woman, but it's a blessing to have someone that's in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
It feels
well put, baby.
It feels good.
That's what I was trying to say. That's so well put.
It feels good.
Exactly.
It takes, it takes, man. It feels good, man.
But
it's
I
like
think there is a need
air.
there too, baby. Though, but I don't think people look at it as the right need. Like, for instance, we always talk about how you handle my needs and I handle your needs. As humans, we all have needs. And it's about picking the right partner that fulfills those needs. It's not about materialistic. It's not even about physical. Because love is way beyond that. You know, when you love somebody,
it's a whole plethora of things.
Yeah, it's a whole different entity. So, you know, that thing about I don't need a man, you might not need a man, but you might need that companion that God ordained us to have to fulfill those needs.
You need companionship. You need some of those things, because if you're alone all the time, you're watching movies by yourself, you're cooking by yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're going to the mall by yourself, you walk into the store by yourself, everything is by yourself. You mean to tell me in a 24-hour span, you don't get the urge to want to be with somebody else to share
anything?
And anything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That means that
you don't want to share
something.
Share yourself with someone, and share, you know, and for someone to share themselves with you.
Because everybody wants to be loved.
Of course.
Everybody wants to be
loved. And if you say, "Nah, I don't want that," I don't believe that. That's a fib.
Yeah,
that's a fib. Because everybody wants to be loved.
Yeah.
We need to be loved
and understood.
Exactly.
That's what makes the world go round. My husband and I was just talking the other night, because I was saying to him about how I can almost understand how a battered woman stays with her husband if he handles that. Everybody has a certain need. And when your need is being handled, especially with women, speaking from a women point of view, when a woman's need is being handled, no matter what that need is, that person could be the scum of the earth. But if they handle that woman need, that woman is going to hold on to that person and hold that person down and love that person like nobody's business.
Because you know why? Because they finally found a shoe that fits.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's nothing like a good shoe that fit. I know that.
That's right. That's right. You know, the shoe, it'll fit, but you know, maybe the way you tie it up is not so good. Or maybe it's a high top and you wanted low tops, but I'm gonna rock it anyway. You know what I mean? Maybe you got a little dirt or oil on the front of it and you really don't want nobody to see it, but you still say with that shoe. You know, and those are the things, you know, like staying in and I understand what you meant by staying in an abusive relationship, which no one should stay in an abusive relationship. But I can almost understand.
When you haven't had that love, which is a human need,
you'll sacrifice.
You would sacrifice.
You'll sacrifice to have that, and that's bad.
That's
bad. It's bad because who wants? That's just bad. Who wants that type of love? I mean,
well, if you never had.
It, then that's the best thing for that. You think that that's the best thing for you.
What happens is there's I took psychology when I was in college, and there's this, you know, kids, you learn the most from the time they're in their mother's belly until they're 5 years old, and so what they learn at that time is what they know. And one of the things they said about kids is if kids are not getting attention, they'll get it any way possible, even if it's negative attention. So that's just human nature. We strive for love. That's the biggest thing that all humans want is love and understanding. So if we can get that, even if it's negative, we're going to grab hold on to it because that's our nature. Right. Yeah, because that's our nature, especially women. You know, we grab on to what our nature is, and our nature is to be loved, for that need that we have to be fulfilled. And so it's not all, and if we don't know what it looks like.
And that's what you're getting, then you think that that's what
exactly. Because you never had it. So you don't know what it looks like or what it's supposed to feel like. That's just like, you know, we talked about in like my first marriage. You know, my mother passed away when I was 19. So how I learned to become a wife and a mother, I learned through trial and error. I learned through my first husband. He taught me how to be a parent because my parent had passed away by the time it was time for me to be a parent. He taught me how to be a wife. And no, it was not all positive. It was not all good. But I never had it before. I didn't know it. So I only picked up on what he taught me. And the others came through years and through trial and error, through making mistakes, because if you never learn it, you don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's even more crazy is that some people go through life for years and never get
never have it. Never have it. And that's sad.
Never have it.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's sad because
it is.
Man, to have unconditional love is one of the most beautiful things that has been created.
It is.
Unconditional love is beautiful. It'll have you do some things, think, and all that stuff, man. So.
Oh, I had to go down because I wasn't reading the comments. Sorry, guys, we wasn't moving down to read the comments.
Omar Smith, what's up, Dub O?
Maybe you got it. Hey, cousin.
Yeah, what's happening? She said, "Men do what? I can't see. I need glasses."
I can't see from there either. Where? Yes, they didn't give themselves time to. We can't see from here. I'm sorry, guys. Old people, we can't see.
I'm not old.
Okay, whatever. Some people are in denial.
It's not me.
They didn't give themselves time to. I can't see that word. It's blurry. Oh, heal. They try to fill a void. True.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Smalley on. Merry Christmas, Smalls.
Well, that was the short thing. I just had to. I've been wanting to talk about that comment because both me and the friend that posted that was surprised at the comment from the females, and it was a male that posted that. By the way, I will say that, and we were just very taken back by the females' comments, and it just makes me feel like that's the way this world is heading because, you know, it's almost like that brainwashing that they have done in our heads is working too well. And it's a shame because it destroys us. Everything that we see now is from the brainwashing that was done to us to take that strong male out of the household.
Divide and conquer.
And we need to wake up because we can't allow that. We can't allow that to happen. The other thing I wanted to talk about, baby, was changing God's plan. Well, I've been trying to get this subject on Hatchett Chronicles for a while now.
Changing God's plan.
And the reason why changing God's plan came around is because of, well, partly because of my book. Because my book was kind of therapeutic for me also because writing it, it helped me get closer to God, and it kind of made me look at some things with myself. And, you know, I'm big on saying, you know, God's got a plan, God's got a plan, God's got a plan. But I also noticed with myself that God will give me a plan, and then I'll replan it. There was a section in a book that I talk about God's plan for me and my sister Valerie. And the first thing that I did, God gave me a plan. He gave me a vision. and it included my sister Val. And the first thing that I did when I got to my sister Valerie, I told her, I said, "Oh, God gave me a plan for us, and we're going to do this." And then that in that very hour, we were sitting down planning for God's plan, if that makes sense. And what we realize is that when God usually gives us a plan, what we do is we replan it as if God needs that.
Because it doesn't fit your criteria.
Yeah, like, it's like, oh, well, maybe God didn't see that roadblock up ahead, so we're going to have to revamp his plan so to avoid that roadblock. Not realizing or not thinking that, well, maybe there's a reason why that roadblock was put there.
You know what people have to look at? When you go to God and you ask him for something, you'll get it. But you have to, and just like the word says, you have to be careful what you ask for. Okay? You can ask for whatever you want to ask for, but before you ask, you have to look at every aspect of what it is you're asking for and what can come with that, and what the outcome will be. Sometimes we don't know the outcome because you don't know what God's plan is, and you don't know what his outcome is going to be. You just ask and you leave it to him. But the thing is you can't ask for something and not be ready for whatever it is that's coming back. You have to be ready for it. You have to be ready for it, because Lord knows if you ask and you receive it, if you're not ready for it, then you don't know what to do with it.
But don't you think it's also sometimes sometimes I don't think we know what to ask for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll ask for something, and that's not really what's good for us.
That's why you have to speak from the heart. When you're praying and you're talking to God, you speak from the heart, not from your mind. If you speak from your heart, because God reads the heart. So you speak from your heart when you ask for things. You speak, that's why the saying is, what your heart desires. It's not what your mind desires, it's what your heart desires, because God looks at the heart. So with saying that, you have to understand what it is that you really want, and you speak to him about it.
So how do you feel about the revamping of God's plan? Because you're one.
I don't think that you should, when you pray for something and you ask God for it, and you don't want to put your hand in it. You don't want to taint what he's doing. You ask him and you leave it alone.
But sometimes, baby, we do it by
we do it by accident, because our flesh is being rushed in haste. We're making hasty decisions, and we're being rushed because that's what the flesh wants to hurry up and get to. This is why I'm saying you got to be careful what you ask for.
So how do you? Because one thing I told my husband, I'm in awe of my husband, that the gift that God has given me, because his faith is so strong in God that it's unbelievable sometimes to me. I'm amazed by it. I'm proud of it. But the other night I asked my husband a question. I was like, sometimes don't you feel like, like everybody knows I'm a little crazy.
A little? No, go ahead.
But sometimes I look at my husband and I'll be like, I love him so much, and I love his hands, and I love this, and I love that. And I asked him if sometimes don't he be like, my goodness, Lord, what did I do to deserve this? Or, kind of question God. And he was like, nope, because nope, that's what it is.
Because what's for me is for me. What God gives me for me is for me. And I don't question it, because he's the greater knower, right? All I can do is receive his grace and mercy. That's all I can do.
I guess my question is, how do you get to that level? Because, We're
Because
human, and flesh, the saying goes, the spirit is willing, but the flesh
flesh is
is
weak, right?
weak,
But see, in your mind, you have to tell your mind, you have to tell your mind and tell your heart what it is. Okay, I know, I know I want a piece of cake, but God said that piece of cake is not good. It has too much sugar in it. Okay, so if God said this piece of cake is not good and it has too much sugar in it, then apparently that's not what I should be eating, right? But if my flesh is like, man, you could just get one little piece, you could, just get a corner of it. Well, ain't nothing wrong with a cheat weekend or a cheat day or something like that. Right, there's nothing wrong with it, and you are right. I could take a little piece and ain't gonna do this and that and the third. If I just take this piece and not do it for a long time, I'll be all right. Maybe he's saying if I do it constantly, it's bad for me, but he ain't say that. He just said, you know what I mean? The flesh starts to wander around, and it's like a ping pong game. Not ping pong, pinball game. When you play pinball, you hit those two things, and these balls are bouncing up against everything. That's what those thoughts are doing in your mind. When you just say, okay, God said it's no good, I'm not even going to question it. I'm not going to worry why. I'm not going to ask why it's not good for me. If God said it's not it, then it's not it. And I'm going to train my mind to say, he said that's not it. 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 Right? And the more you do that, the more it becomes a natural thing. So now the next thing that we're not supposed to do, and we're not supposed to do it, it's not so hard to get into the groove of not doing it because we've already trained ourselves on the first thing so far. You know what I'm saying? He said that's not it. He said that's not it. No matter how bad my flesh wants to indulge, he said that's not it. And the reason why it's not it is because he said so.
Because we walk by faith
and not by sight. And if he said that that's not it, then that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Apparently, if it was okay, then he wouldn't have said that's not it. That's how I give God the glory, and that's how I receive what his plan is for us. Because what his plan is for me and you. And I have to carry that plan.
See why I married him? That's why I married him, because he all that.
No, I'm just a regular man, and I'm thankful that I have God's grace and mercy, and I'm thankful that I have his undeniable love. He said he will not leave nor forsake us, and that is true. That is the truth. I've seen it time and time and time and time again. He always shows himself to be the end all be all.
Amen.
Always shows himself. So with that being said, and finishing up on the question that you asked me, that's how I follow God's plan. And sometimes we don't even know what the plan is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of
times. And that's a tough part.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you pray enough and you speak to him enough, he'll give you a hint on what the plan is. Because, there's one thing that I do with my wife, and I say, you know what? Before we move, before we jump out and do anything, we need to pray on it. Because if God wants us there, then that's where we'll be. If that's for us, then that's what he'll give us. I don't want to move on my own accord, because for 52 years I moved on my own accord, and some of the things that I encountered within my 52 years were definitely not right for me. Oh, boy. But it's a learning experience. And now my whole thing is, if he said it, I believe it. If God said it, I believe it. And that's what I'm going to follow. That's what I'm going to follow. If he said it, I believe it. And that's what it is, because thus far, anytime I lean and depend on God, it's been nothing but, I've gotten nothing but beautiful results back.
Let me tell you,
Nothing
the
but
last 2
results.
years has not been easy for us. It might have looked it, but it ain't been tough. But I know it was nothing but God that brought us to nothing but God. God strategically placed the right people.
That's right.
You know, right time. He did, and we literally gave ourselves to him, and he handled everything.
That's right.
We literally was carried for 2 years by God.
That's right. And we're still being carried.
Yes, we still are.
And I'm going to continue to humbly place myself on the throne, place myself at his feet. Whatever it is he has for me, I'm willing to receive it, good, bad, and different, because he knows what's going to put me in the right place that I need to be. Therefore, that'll put you in the right place where you need to be.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Amen.
So I want to receive all that he has for me. All that he has for me, I want to receive it. If it's for me, it's for me. Y'all hear me say that a lot. And that's why I say that a lot. What's for me is for me. I'm not worried about what's for everybody else, because that's none of my concern. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but if I start to concern myself what's for you, then I'm missing what's for me. I'm missing what I'm supposed to have. I need to pay attention to what he has for me, because what he has for you is not what's for me. And if it is, we'll know when our roads when our paths cross. So whatever he has for you is what he has for you. Just be in the business to receive it. Whatever he has for me, I'm in the business to receive whatever he has for me. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And when you lean and depend on him, you will never fail. You'll never fail. And he will always take care of you. He will show up when you least expect it.
Amen.
When you think that everything is just in turmoil. When you think that there's nothing that could ever go right again. When he shows up, it brightens up that moment and the moments right after that. And it's like a miracle. I've seen it time and time again. So you can't mess with God's plan. We can't fathom what his plan is, but the only thing we can do is follow the blueprint that he sets out. If we follow that blueprint, we'll be fine.
Amen. I want to say that, we wasn't born like this. It took a lot of trial and error. It took a lot of spankings by the Father for us to arrive at this point. What I want to say is that life is short. And, that's a saying that people say all the time. You heard your grandmother.
But take it for granted.
But you really do, especially these days. These days and time, life is really short.
And you never know.
We have no time for drama. We have no time to be asleep. We have no time to say, well, tomorrow I'll fight that fight. Because tomorrow is not promised. Through all the genocides that was planned prior, it's coming to pass. We only have ourselves. We have to come together. We have to wake up.
That's right.
We have to use what our God-given talent that God gave us. We have to know that we are kings and queens. We are descended from kings and queens.
That's right.
We have to know that we're intelligent, that we're important. We have to love ourselves.
That's right.
And we have to love our families and the others that we care about around us.
And if you love someone, don't be scared to tell them you love them. Even if it's a man. You know, a lot of brothers out here, oh, no homo, no homo, or pause. No, I don't do that. I don't do that because I'm a man. I am a man before anything. And I know what I'm saying. And if you misconstrued that, then that's on you. But I know what I'm saying. And I'm secure in who I am and what I am and what I have. So when, you know, bros be saying, you know, pause, I don't trip about
That's a good point, baby, because that's another genocide.
Yeah.
That is another brainwashing
falling into
that
what society has.
Yeah, exactly. That society has told us. You know, a man is not supposed to cry. A man is not, you know, if he cry or he shows weakness, then he's a punk. He's this.
See,
and he's that.
I want to say something about that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what happens with that is this. When you know God and you know your soul and you know what the soul is about, when you cry, something old dies and it makes room for happiness, right? So when you cry, except for tears of joy, because you will cry in tears of joy, but at that moment when you're crying in tears of joy, you can automatically say, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm crying. Mm-hmm. You know exactly what it is you're cleansed of, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're in turmoil and you're crying, you can be crying about 75 different things, and you really can't put your hand on one thing. You can, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's a catch-22, but if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you can put your hand on one thing, but it's 75 other different things that you're crying about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when we cry, there's a bad part or some bad things that we're letting go. Away. It's being washed out. It's being washed out. So when people say, you know, a man ain't supposed to cry, that's a sign of weakness. No, it's not.
Well, you know,
it's a sign of cleansing your soul.
If you think about it, though, if we really think about these myths that people put out there, we would realize how stupid and unlogical it is. Like, I remember maybe last year, remember that picture with the guy holding his son on his chest or something, and they were hugging, and everybody made a big deal about it because they were two men. It's like, this is genocide. You know, you tell a man, be a man, take care of your kids. Then you had a man and his son, and he was embracing his son and showing his son love. And then you say, oh, no, that makes him look weak. You're not supposed to do that. You can't have it both ways. You see how they're brainwashing us and how they're making us walk that silly walk, I will say, for lack of better words. Because human nature it's just the same thing. For years we say men are not emotional. Men don't show emotion. You know, it takes the woman to rear kids because men don't, they too tough and this and that. And then when we see it, then we say, oh, he's weak. He shouldn't be doing that. And no, don't do that. That makes him look like a punk. You know, that is just what they want us to be. Confused and idiots.
That's another part of divine confidence.
Yeah, confused and idiots. Mm-hmm. Because the human spirit is to be loved. The human spirit is to have emotion, to cry. Mm-hmm. These was what God created in us. Mm-hmm. So, if a man got to be tough and can't cry, then you're taking out what God created in him.
That's right. That's right. And you know, like that. Speaking on that situation that you was just talking about, you know, that it was something like that, and I was reading something, and it said, should a man kiss his son? You know what I mean? Oh, when it gets to be a certain age, a man shouldn't kiss his son. You know, that don't look right. That's crap. When they are 2 minutes old to 99 years old, if I feel like kissing my son, I'm going to kiss my son. And I'll do it on the White House steps with everybody boycotting, because that's my son. That's my flesh of my flesh. And I'm going to always show my flesh of my flesh how I feel. If I love you, I love you.
And
if
here's
I want to kiss
baby.
my son on the cheek, I'm going to kiss him on the cheek. Kiss him on the forehead.
I'm going to really cause some problems now for those who's watching. So let me just put this disclaimer out here. If you don't like what we're talking about or what we say, hey, feel free to unfriend us. But check this out. So that was a big issue because it's like you shouldn't do that, right? But yet and still, you're going to give a woman's award to a man that turned a woman. But that was okay, right?
Yeah.
So, see, you see how we're not waking up to see what they're doing to us, to see how they're brainwashing us? It's wrong for a man to kiss his son when the son get to show his son that he made affection like that. But it's okay that a man who was a man turned into a woman and can get a woman's award. But we shouldn't talk bad about that. We shouldn't say nothing negative about that, because then we're being prejudiced and we're being
bashing, and it's bashing and all of that other stuff. But God, all I'm gonna say to that is God don't make mistakes.
Amen.
God don't make mistakes.
Amen.
And people can take that how they want to take it. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not slandering anyone. That's not what my purpose is as far as speaking on that. But my take on that is God don't make mistakes. So at the end of the day, if that's what you feel, you're supposed to be and this and that, that's something you have to deal with. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when you're dealing with that, don't ridicule anybody else for what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? You can't point the finger at somebody else when you're standing in the mirror and not get a glimpse of the finger pointing back at you at some point in time. There's no way you can do that. You understand what I'm saying? So you pay attention to the finger that's pointing at you, and then you can pinpoint anything else in that room. Anything else.
And I'm going to say this, and again, I don't mean to offend anybody. And those that know me know that there's no way I could even try to offend somebody, because I have people very, very close to me that have gender identities or whatever you want to say. All I'm saying is fight your own fight. Don't jump on nobody else's bandwagon to fight your fight. This thing where equal rights and stuff like that, the equal rights for one. Now hear me, people. The equal rights for one has nothing to do with the other.
That's right.
Okay, so the skin color for equal rights is not the same thing as gender identity equal rights, okay? And I'm sorry if I make some people mad about that, but it's true. You have your own battle. Fight that your battle. I'm all for it. But don't jump on my battle. My battle was my battle. You can't walk a mile in my shoes. And when it bothers me when people try to combine the two.
You can't do that.
Because if your eyes are open, that's the worst thing to do, is to try to combine the two. Because then you're building another problem. And understand, I'm not saying this in a negative way. For people whose eyes are open, they'll understand what I'm saying.
You have to take the good, the bad, and the indifferent in order to be able to, I'm not going to say function, but to be able to deal with certain things. You have to be an optimist. You have to look at things optimistically. Is the glass full? Is the glass empty? You understand what I'm saying? Is it half full or is it half empty?
Hey, Fire.
You have to hey.
Fire is Fire is my artist, my gospel gospel artist. I am very proud of her. Please pay attention because she will be coming out very soon. And she is.
She gonna light it up.
Yeah. Her name is very befitting of her. She is fire. She's on fire for Jesus. And I'm all with that. So look out for her too.
Merry Christmas, Miss Asbury.
Merry Christmas, Nikki.
So we've been on for an hour.
Okay.
We don't usually shoot past the hour.
Yeah, we try not to shoot past an hour. What I would like to say though is, I would like to dedicate this Christmas show to this Christmas Hatchett Chronicles to people that we have lost. My ex-husband, my my daughter's father, Ron Heyman, my sister-in-law, Fikwa, my brother, Ronnie Ford from Parliament, my brother Hussein. Again, life is not promised. Love each other. Wake up, people. Please wake up. We need each other. Wake up.
If y'all saw School Days, remember when my man was in the quad yelling, "Wake up!"
Exactly.
That's what I feel like saying sometimes. But listen, the only thing that's promised to us in this life is death. So while we're here, we need to get along. We need to interact a lot more with each other.
We need to help each other.
And we need exactly that.
I know.
I was going to say.
Yeah, we have some crazies out here, and I know. Listen, I know people are loony, but we need to wake up and help each other because we are the only. What's the word? People of color are the only people that don't come together enough. I'll say that. How about that?
Yeah. We need to, because if we did, it would be better. Instead of, hating on someone for having something good, salute that man for doing something great in his life.
Or just you don't even have to agree. Why don't you just find out why that person feels the way they are and think the way they are? Because everybody's not you. Everybody don't think the same. We talked about that, baby, how, you were having an issue and it was like, well, you didn't see it like that other person saw it. Yeah, sometimes you got to step outside of yourself and put yourself in that person's shoes and figure out why that person is reacting the way they are. You never know. You can't look at somebody and see what they're going through.
Apparently, there's a reason for
exactly.
It. You know what I'm saying? For someone to act out or act in a manner that's not,
care enough to try to find out.
Right, exactly.
And you would find most of the time it's not even what you think it is. It might not even be about you.
Right.
What was that song? You so vain. Yeah, I bet you thought the song was about you. We got to get over that. We got to get over that vainness. That sometimes it ain't even about us.
So, with that being said.
Oh, once again, let me put my plugs in again. Sabrina Johnston, major artist. She was out in the 90s, hit the charts. She was top, what do they call it? Top
10 in Billboard.
Yeah, topper. Yeah. In the 90s, Peace, Friendship. Well, she is back, y'all. And please support her because also Sabrina had a stroke. That's another thing. Life is short. She had a major stroke. And God is so good because he saw her through it. And she was able to come back out. Her first single is under our recording label, Untapped Talent Recordings, and it's called "Lay Me Down." And it is one of these. If you're getting married in the future, you might want to hear the song. You might want to walk down the aisle on it. It's on all your favorite streaming sites. It hit today, so go out and purchase that. Yeah, support her. And you ain't even got to go out. Look, just go on your and pay for it, download it. You know,
your desktop, your laptop, your iPhone.
Just support her and look out for our other artists. Fleet Cold Chain, my baby.
Yeah, we have a bunch of artists that's coming soon.
Fire is coming out with her stuff soon. And just
it's a lot.
It's
a lot.
Just keep tabs on us. Keep following us, because we got some good stuff coming. My book, The Power of God, soon. My husband's
we got the
projects.
Five Kings production thing going on. We got Trick Members thing going on. We got Smooth and Ice-T, SMG. Oh man, we got a whole plate full of.
We've been working. That's why we haven't been on Hatchett Chronicles. We've been working hard.
And we got the Freestyle Madness.
Marco, my nephew, he's getting ready to drop some singles out.
So just stay tuned, man. Yeah. Just stay tuned. Right now, it's a whole lot to explain, and we're gonna do a Hatchett Chronicles on all of the stuff that we have coming up and all of the stuff that we putting out.
Maybe some interviews, maybe.
Maybe some interviews with some of the artists we working with and stuff like that. That'll be cool too.
Follow my sister, Generational Words.
Right.
Valerie McAllister. She is
her.
Yeah, she is.
Her books. She has great books.
Humanitarian.
Yes. Definitely.
Motivational speaker.
Yes.
Watch out for my sister Valerie.
Definitely support her and follow her, because that's a powerful woman.
Yes, she is.
She's a very
I love you, sister. That's my big sister. I'm so proud of her. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year if we don't see you. New Year's.
We'll be on the road, but we'll be back.
2019 is a big year. Love one another.
Right.
Support one another.
Right. So with that being said, we love you guys. We thank you for sharing a couple of moments on Christmas with us.
I'm Terry
You could have
Hatchett.
been anywhere doing anything.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Gave us some of your time on Christmas, and we really, really, really appreciate that. We are so thankful for you guys. And any comments, drop it in the box. If there's any
subject matters
you want to speak on, drop it in the box.
That will help us too. That'll give us a little
you guys give us some feedback. Give us incentive on
to do more
Hatchett
shows Chronicles
and stuff like that, because a lot of times we get bogged down in the things that we're doing outside of Hatchett Chronicles. Sometimes it takes us long to get back, in between shows.
And sometimes we think that, well, this is more important because nobody's really following Hatchett Chronicles.
But it's okay, because the ones that do follow, we appreciate y'all.
But what I'm saying is that if y'all gave us subjects and gave us feedback, then that'll, give us a sense that, hey, we got to do a Hatchett Chronicles. Yeah.
Right, to do more. Right.
Because we do appreciate your support.
Yes, we do. And we're so thankful. So God bless. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas.
This is Terry Hatchett.
This is Frank Hatchett. No, GL. Don't ever call me. And we thank y'all. God bless.
Hatchett Chronicles.
And we out.
We out.